Yo, what's good, my peoples? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE Raw review. So tonight I'm reviewing WWE Raw for July 28th, 2014. And before I get into my review, there's dogs barking in the background, so you may hear them, you may not. Can't deal with it, and it's so late I have to record this review. But before I get into the full Raw review, let's get into some little old news. So let's start off with the biggest news of the weekend: the possible question mark cancellation of TNA Impact Wrestling by Spike TV. Crazy news. Not one that I could say is a surprise. People have been talking about this. I haven't watched Impact for a long time, and I've seen clips of how bad it's been. I've seen clips of how okay it's been getting ever since Slammiversary. I've heard and listened and talked to other people about that, but for the past couple of years, it has been on a sharp decline, and it's just going through a lot of its problems. TNA Impact Wrestling is just at its very bottom. It's found some light at the end of the tunnel at this last few months of its life, but it seems that light is just the the light taking it out. Not light leading to prosperity, but light leading to death. um I don't know, man. Like, you just go from like its beginnings with Jeff Jarrett and all the good stuff that was on the show with the whole X Division and knockouts and how great everything was at that point, to Dixie Carter Maine getting into everything and the money that she put in the company, to all the failings that she did, like bringing in MMA guys, bringing in other WWE and WCW, ECW talent, the inquisitions of Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, and trying to move to Monday nights, and how much that had failed drastically. I mean, horribly failed for them. I think their lowest ratings was when they moved to Monday night, and they just got killed by the WWE. And then them going back, them taking away the six-sided ring and basically changing up what got them to the party. Not pushing a height on the X Division, not pushing a height on the Knockouts, bringing other people from other companies in. Some did okay, some did really good, like Angle, like Hardy. Brought in some new life to TNA, but others just really did not do anything for the company. And there were a few, like I said, like Angle, Hardy, Bully Ray, that did a really good job, but the overwhelming factions and main event mafias and aces and eights just didn't help at all. And I think the dagger in the back to this company was in the last couple of weeks, when Spike TV and the whole world found out that Vince Russo was back in a take on a wrestling show, and basically giving decisions and stuff on the wrestling show. I don't really know every detail about what's going on with Vince Russo on TNA, but supposedly he was doing some writing for the announcing team, and I guess Spike hates Russo, and a lot of other people do too. I'm not too much familiar with him. I know a lot about him, but I was a kid during the Attitude Era, so it really wasn't something that I was big on, and I was just a casual wrestling fan at the time. Not a one that's really hardcore into it like I got into be. More and more I got into wrestling, and got around my younger brother and my cousin, who got me more further into the whole dynamics of wrestling. But just crazy news. And like I said, they had a pretty good roster there. I mean, dudes like Kazarian, dudes like Christopher Daniels, Robert Roode, James Storm, and just AJ Styles, all the dudes that they had there, and how many of those dudes aren't there anymore, or how many of those dudes are pushed lower into the card for other guys who aren't part of their beginning set or aren't part of the TNA build up, like Lashley and Bully, and guys who may be even good, like Hardy and stuff, just aren't TNA's TNA guys. They push other companies' guys, even though some of them may have been in there for a cool minute. They're still pushing those guys over building up their own characters, and that's another thing that daggered into the back of this company. Just a lot of stuff with this, and like I said, they did have a semi rise going into after Slammiversary. The stuff with MVP, him coming in being a mouthpiece for a lot of stuff, kind of brought them back up and helped them out a lot. And bringing in stars like the Muda and his whole Wrestle One organization with Sonata and stuff, bringing in guys who can actually put on matches and stuff. And it did help for a minute, but it looks like it wasn't able to bring them anywhere near to prosperity and out of the rut that they was in. Yeah, it's very sad to hear about what's happening, but it's not nothing I couldn't say I did see coming. So I may watch Destination X this week. If I have the time, I'll watch it. If not, it's whatever. But yeah, I feel sorry for those dudes. Everybody that's going to lose their jobs. It's not 100%, but I would say it's most likely 75% that I'm sure that TNA is going under. So yeah, sorry for everybody like that, and sorry for all the people that it's going to be hard for them to find other spaces in either. If some of them may get to WWE, it's very unlikely that a good majority of them, or even a small majority of them, is going to get there. Maybe like one or two may get there, but the other ones, it's going to be hard to find work in indies, especially because it's uploaded in an expanded, very just bloated indie scene right now. So yeah. Another piece of news that happened was the whole WWE signing of Prince Devitt. So he's finally signed to an NXT roster. The guy, I haven't really seen much of his matches, but from the few I've seen, he's really good. He has a lot of character to him. I think he's Scottish or Irish or something like that. But he was trained in England, and a lot of character to him, a lot of style. He does the stuff where he paints his face up, so he has something there. He may not be able to use the characters that he usually uses when he paints his face up, but he can go in. But I heard a lot of good things about him, so I can't wait to see what he does. So yeah, Kenta, Prince Devitt, you still got Steen and Willie Mack, both guys been said to go there. So interested to see if these other two come in, but interesting more to see what the ones that we got is going to do for the future of NXT and going on to the WWE. Last piece of news was something I said last week, but CM Punk with Nerdist News, the whole Nerdist program at Comic-Con. He was doing stuff, basically walking the Comic-Con floor and talking to people in costumes and cosplays. He did a really good job. I thought he was very funny. He basically played up a guy who didn't know shit about Comic-Con, didn't care about cosplay and comic books, and by the end of the weekend, he was in love with it. So, he was playing around as that type of character. So, it was a pretty, nice little thing to see him doing. And if I see CM Punk and whatever I look at, I'll put it in my reviews and say what's up, because I'm a huge CM Punk fan, and I'm happy he's doing whatever he wants to do. That's what's up. So yeah, let's go to our finally 8 minutes in. Let's get to our WWE Raw review for July 28th, 2014. And the show kicks off with John Cena, who comes to the ring, talks about his opponent Brock Lesnar, says that he's fearful of him, but he has a lot of heart himself, and he knows that he's going to catch a beating at SummerSlam. But if you look at what's happened with the 2012 match where he won, he can survive, and he will survive. So he cut a very passionate promo here, and he talked about passion the whole time. And I thought, he did a very good job just coming in here, coming straight, and not going off onto other things. One question is, where the fuck was this at when you was wrestling and going the whole feud with Bray Wyatt? Like, this right here is the promo that I wanted when he was talking about Bray Wyatt, instead of the, half-hearted, nice guy, half-hearted, jokey promo that he was giving off. Even his serious promos weren't nowhere near as the one he hit here. So, yeah, this was a really, really good promo by John Cena. You get Paul Heyman, who came out and basically said, no matter how much passion you have or how much heart you have, Brock Lesnar's going to take that. He's going to victimize you. So, very good by Paul Heyman here. John Cena comes back. He tries to get an ECW chat going. It really doesn't go over for him. And he basically just talks about saying, I'm going to win, and I may catch a beat down, but I'm going to try my best to win. So basically going off of that, you get Cesaro, who comes out, and he hugs Paul Heyman. He tries his best to back at John Cena, calls him a walking billboard, says he got his shoes at Kmart's. he was just trying to go at him. He says he doesn't like his people talking to his friend Paul Heyman that way, and he's going to beat up a guy who can't wrestle in John Cena. He tells me you can't wrestle. So, I thought Cesaro did an okay job here, but getting into the match between these two, which basically both of them ran down and was fighting with each other, getting into the match. I thought it was a pretty good match here, man. Both of these guys went at each other, and they really did get down right here and stuff. Some things were sloppy in there, but you had one spot where Cesaro tries to go for the big swing, Cesaro swing, and Cena just pulls himself up, then does a sunset flip onto Cesaro, and I thought that was a very good move. And just going into different things like that, you had Cesaro who went and did the big swing and then turned it into the submission, and just a very good looking set of moves. You had another one where he does his deadlift, where he lifts the guys up over the ropes and then does the suplex on them. So that's just a lot of great stuff from Cesaro in this whole little stuff, and Cena as well, who I thought worked at least really good here too. The match ends up with Cena hitting the AA off the second rope onto Cesaro. So Cesaro looked really strong here, and Cena doesn't pull out the AA off the ropes at all really anymore. So I think the last time we saw him do it was against one of the Wyatts inside of the Hell in the Cell. So he doesn't pull that move out a lot, and that says something about Cesaro, that he has to pull out one of his bigger moves, or probably his biggest move, in order to beat him. So it makes Cesaro look good here, even though he lost, but a good spot for a good match between both guys. So next you get Paige, who comes out and she starts saying that she's sorry for what she did to AJ last week, and she didn't mean to do that, and she still wants to be her friend, and AJ is still her best friend. You get AJ Lee, who comes out. She's wearing more lighter clothes now to, I guess, signify her face turn. Very different from the whole darkish stuff that she usually wears, and she basically comes out, tell Paige that Paige is not a real woman. AJ is, and that usually if AJ has a problem with somebody, she'll say it in their face and stuff like that, and basically told Paige, stop acting like a bitch and an asshole and stuff like that. Paige took it as, are you just acting crazy right now? You're acting mental. It pissed AJ off, and she just attacked Paige. They had a little sprawl with each other onto the outside and stuff, and at the end just had a big stare down between both girls. I feel that it was okay. I thought AJ did a really good job here. She most definitely conveyed the whole, split in herself, the crazy side, plus that, she is trying to change. I liked AJ here. The problem still is Paige. This playing of this whole half and half with her is not working at all. She needs to go full on heel, full on vicious, because you're playing against a character like AJ, who has this, trying to get herself to this whole face mentality, and she has to get over the CM Punk chance, which isn't a help at all either. So, if you can get Paige to go full heel, full anti-diva, full goth here, British gothic girl here, she can work very well. I did like a line from AJ Lee where she called Paige a Casper Crumpet or something like that, so I thought that was pretty funny. But as far as it was the average segment between both girls. I think better than the other talking segments that they have previously, but hopefully they could push this further to where you get Paige to have something that's going to draw her some real heat here, because so far she's unable to draw real heat on herself as a heel, and it's not helping this program at all. So next you get Stephanie and Triple H, who come out. Triple H just basically pleases his case of displeasure with the whole audience over their chantings and shit talking of Stephanie McMahon while she got arrested. He basically says he's pissed off about it and stuff like that. You get Jericho, who comes out and he just starts ribbing Triple H and Stephanie, old school Jericho style. He gets the crowd into a Bad Boys sing along, and he just starts going at him. He calls Stephanie McMahon he's like hoe and all this other stuff. Triple H stops him before he says garbage bag. It's called all kind of weird shit, and stops him before he can say as hoe. Triple H then goes back at him and starts talking shit. Then before he says, "I'm gonna have you a match tonight," which basically is the reason why Jericho's out there to set up a match for himself with Bray Wyatt. Triple H says, "No, that'll be at SummerSlam." Then he says, "You got a match tonight, but against somebody who my choosing." And basically, Seth Rollins comes out by surprise, hits Jericho in the back with the briefcase, and stands over him for his match that they have later tonight. So I thought this segment was actually pretty chill. Triple H really going hellish here. And I like Stephanie McMahon's just, sadness in the corner, besides Triple H, just, acting all sad and shit. And also, I really like Jeff Jarrett. I really liked Chris Jericho here. I thought he did a very good job with the whole, character, and just, bringing back a real retro side of Chris Jericho. I really thought that was good. And the attack by Seth Rollins was pretty chill as well. So, pretty good segment right there. Next, you get a match with the Usos and in Ziggler versus The Miz and Ryback. An okay match here. A lot of back and forth between everybody. You got The Miz, who basically stayed up the whole match, trying not to get his face hit and stuff. They had a lot of, just basically crazy segments going. I mean, crazy spots, not spots, but crazy. What do you call it? Just runarounds between these guys where they were just trying to, tag out and tag in and, try to throw each other off and stuff. You had Xavier Woods and the whole crew of, I don't know what they're going to call themselves. I really don't know if their faces are heel yet, but you had them from backstage to on the ringside where they were just basically watching the match, and you had Xavier basically, talking to the guys and saying, I don't know what they were talking about, but basically, being a lookout on the match. I do like how they're all in suits now and, giving themselves a different look than their usual, when they do ringside stuff than their usual look here. So I really do like that look from them. The match basically go down where Ziggler hits Ryback with the zigzag and picks up the win from that. And you basically had everybody looking on and stuff like that. So it looks like they're pushing more of the stuff for the whole tag team division and also more stuff for The Miz versus Ziggler. So, I thought it was an okay segment here and an okay match itself. Next, you get R-Truth versus Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas comes out and he basically says, "R-Truth, I know you lost a lot. I mean, a lot." And then he says, "But you can win someday only if you believe." So they get in the match themselves. Bo Dallas runs around the ring after a couple of tackles to R-Truth, or shoulder blocks to R-Truth, and R-Truth takes his cheering on himself as a chance for a roll-up, rolls Bo Dallas up, gets the 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of Bo Dallas' streak. You get Bo Dallas after that, who basically just in all shock on his face, which I thought the way his look came off was very funny, and basically got pissed off at that and attacked R-Truth after saying, I couldn't believe that happened. So he attacks R-Truth and basically beats him down. So as far as my whole thoughts on this segment, I feel that Bo Dallas himself did an okay job as, getting everything set up for this match. If you got a guy that was going 17-0 though, I really don't like the idea of R-Truth taking the 17-0 thing from him. I thought it would have been very funny for Brock Lesnar to demolish Bo Dallas, but that probably would have turned him face. There could have been somebody else that could have done this, that could have led into a feud for Bo Dallas, like Sheamus or somebody else. They could have put him in the whole thing with The Miz and Dolph Ziggler or something, but it is what it is, and I thought it was done okay at least, mediocre at worst. But yeah, I guess this is something of a bump for R-Truth then. He hasn't won a match in a while, and I guess this is a little something for him. So, yeah, it is what it is. So next you get Rusev and Lana. Rusev, I was putting their names together like an idiot. So Rusev and Lana who come out. Lana starts going in on America and stuff. She starts bringing up Putin, how great he is, and starts talking shit about President Obama. And then she even goes to start talking shit about ex-President Bush, and the crowd boos Bush. So that gave me a pretty good chuckle. But then you got Zeb Coulter, a Swagger, who comes out, and Zeb Coulter starts going into this really cool promo where he just says, great things about America, starts saying how great the 50 stars and 13 bars are, and he starts going in about how, what do you say, America is great because of several things, and like the military and the people that fought for us, and after each one of them he'll say, we the people. So he said this one end where he was like, monster truck, hot broads, and beer, we the people. And they got a real big chant from the crowd, from the Houston, Texas crowd. So that was pretty funny to me, just to hear like the most mediocre things in our society they really loved, and that's America. So it is what it is. But I thought this opening, just talk dialogue between them two, was very good as far as their promos with each other. Then you had Swagger, who runs down to attack Rusev, and they get into a big brawl on the outside, each of them going back and forth. Rusev gets Swagger into the ring, tries to go for the boot on the back, and Swagger reverses it into the Patriot Lock. He gets it on him for a second, then Rusev gets out of the ring, and they have a big showdown with the flag. So I like this segment a lot. The in-ring guys did their job, and the guys on the mic with Lana and Zeb Coulter did their job. So pretty cool segment here from both sets of teams, and I can't wait to see what they do for the pay-per-view. I'm expecting a flag match, so I'm interested to see what they do with that. But like I said, this has been one of my more favorable feuds going on for right now. It hasn't been some crazy heat for both guys, especially ever since the little stuff that happened with the Malaysian air flight and them commenting on it. So I don't know if that's kind of affecting their whole effect with the crowd, but it started to come back tonight, and they had a little bit more heat with the crowd, especially for the villains, and a little bit more cheering with the faces. So it was a pretty good segment right here. Next, you get a very bad segment with Damien Sandow and Adam Rose. Damien Sandow basically does the Houston stuff, that the NASA's people says. I really don't care to even correct myself right now. Adam Rose comes out, says, "Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud." They do a match, party foul, and don't care, horrible, sad for Damien Sandow, but truthfully, I gotta be truthful. I haven't cared about anything that he's done as that character, even the stuff that I kind of like the Vince McMahon thing. I didn't like it all, and people say, "Oh, it's great." No, it's not. Damien Sandow puts his all into it, but just because you turn a crap into gold, it's still at the base crap, and this is still very crap that has a little bit of chunks of gold in it. So it's still fucking shit with gold. And even the smallest pieces of gold doesn't make it good. So I spent enough time on this. Let's go to the next thing. You get Kane, who comes out for his match against Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes down and right away gets attacked by Randy Orton. They have a big brawl with each other, throwing each other over barricades and into shit. Roman Reigns gets most of the offense at this point. Kane tries to help out, but ends up catching a Superman punch for himself. Roman Reigns gets him into the ring. Kane ends up hitting Roman Reigns with a choke slam, and then you get Kane, who looks at everybody and leaves, and Randy Orton goes to work. Bunch of stuff in the ring, throwing them all over the outside, does the whole drop DDT off the barricade, and then knocks him onto the steps and stuff, gets him over towards the announce table, hits one RKO, announce table doesn't break, gets pissed off, hits another RKO, full demise on the announce table. And as far as this segment goes, I thought it went on a little too long, and it was a little bit too much of Randy Orton doing too many things. But I do have to say I like the beatdown segment here, and Randy Orton's interaction with Roman Reigns as far as yelling at him through the whole time, just talking shit at him, and just hearing his basic anger for Roman Reigns interfering with him getting a title shot, I thought was done very well by Randy Orton here. And Roman Reigns took the beatdown very well and had himself a nice little spot going in. And basically, if it wasn't for Kane, he would probably have a better shot at this. I hear that, they're not doing too well at the not indie shows, but at the live shows with their matches, and they're not getting a lot of hype. So hopefully, they find a way to get these guys a little bit more heat on each other and going into a match. And possibly they might not have a regular match with each other. It might be a falls count anywhere or something that, gives them some leverage in it of a gimmick that doesn't make a boring match and, can get them further somewhere. So, okay, beatdown segment. I thought Randy Orton did good here. You had kids that were yelling at him during the whole time, "Randy Orton, you suck. Stop it, Randy Orton," and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty funny, and pretty chill beatdown segment here. Next, you had another horrible segment with Slayer, whatever they're calling themselves, and the Los Matadors with El Torito. They come down, have a match with Fandango. They distract Fandango, which is just even it's El Torito too, and Layla and Summer Rae. They all does heelish stuff and never get called out on it, which is just insane to me. Like Adam Rose as well does hellish things, never get called on it, cheats all the time, never get called on it. So basically, they prop the bull up, distracted Fandango, and you get the Matador who gets the win. They distract Fandango again. Bull hits him in the nuts, and that's the end of that segment. So yeah, like I said, that's one of my major problems right now is the characters who do hellish things and are still trying to treat it as baby faces, or the characters who do hellish things in front of the referee and don't get disqualified for that shit. That shit really pisses me off a lot. Like, dude, did you see what the fuck I just saw? Like, you're looking right at it. That's a fucking disqualification. I know this shit is fake, but if you're gonna at least try to make it a story and try to make it somewhat believable, follow the fucking rules and at least go by that. So that really pissed me off looking at here because I hate when they do that. So yeah, next you get Stardust and Goldust who are backstage, and you got Stardust who's writing on a chalkboard and trying to figure out the whole thing with the cosmic key. Goldust tells him to look away or like look something's over there, turn back, and basically he says that the equation goes to they have it. So I'm guessing the whole cosmic key thing is the WWE World Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and this is going to be prolonging to what they're doing for the Tag Team Championships. I thought this segment was okay. I thought all their segments for these backstage things has been pretty okay. Like I keep saying, if you don't get this into the ring, you don't get a crowd interaction with it, I don't think it's going to pick up. I think, it's having a little bit of success here, but, just these same type of backstage things every night, every, nights that they do this, they haven't varied this up too much, and I think that, they need to get a crowd reaction to go with this in order for these guys to fully get over. We know who they are, but, you need to get this crazy gimmick in the crowd, and I would rather see this on there than see Sandow and Adam Rose. Throw that in the backstage segment. Don't give me that type of shit in the live crowd. So yeah, I thought this was okay. So next you get another Divas segments, which is match between Naomi and Natalya versus Alicia Fox and Cameron. Very, very, very mediocre match. You get the girls who actually can wrestle start going at each other for the beginning of the match. Naomi comes in and goes at Alicia Fox and stuff. She attacks Cameron on the outside, basically knocks her down and off of the thing and starts beating her up and stuff. She gets back in the ring and Naomi ends up getting hit with the axe scissors kick by Alicia Fox and tags in Cameron, and Cameron starts going back and forth with Naomi. Cameron tries a few moves, botches all of them against Naomi. It ends with Naomi getting Cameron into this weird new submission, kind of this leg scissors where she just kind of locks Cameron all the way in with it. Cameron taps from this, and I thought it looked like a good submission, but the rest of this match was crazy mediocre, even for its Divas match. So yeah, that was that. Next, you get a match with Seth Rollins versus Jericho. I thought these two had a pretty solid match here. I thought, they went back and forth a good amount here. A lot of nice moves from both guys. Chris Jericho doing very well, even from the commercial break on and stuff. I thought the one problem here was that they were unable to get the crowd inside of this match and get the crowd to interact with this match, and it really didn't pick the vibe of this match up. I think that was the basic problem with Chris Jericho's last match versus Bray Wyatt, that he couldn't get the crowd to interact fully with this match and stuff. Sorry about that, people. And I think that that's been kind of his Achilles heel right now, is not really getting good crowd interaction in his matches so far. So yeah, hopefully he can fix that out. But the match ends with Chris Jericho hitting a code breaker off of a flying Seth Rollins. When Seth Rollins jumps off the ropes, and Chris Jericho hits the code breaker on him, goes for the pin, lights go black, or whatever that shit is, and the Wyatt family comes out, beats up on Chris Jericho, hits him with the Sister Abigail, and stand tall over him, follow the buzzers. So I thought the match itself was pretty chill. No crowd interaction, so that take away from it. And the run-in beatdown itself, I thought was okay, but I would have loved to see them be more creative with it. And I think that it's okay to do this to get both guys to look good that were in the match and not come out with a complete finish. But and also they never said whether or not it was a DQ or not. I guess they were like, oh, you should know that. But you got to at least announce the shit. Another thing with give me my at least my believability. It doesn't have to be real, but at least make it believable. Follow procedures. God damn it. But yeah, it was a pretty okay ending to that, and hopefully they can find more ways to be more creative with it. I'm still trying to find that heat that this had at the beginning for this whole feud. Next, you get your final main event segment, which is Stephanie McMahon, who calls out Brie Bella. She comes to the crowd, which I like that touch of not having her, especially someone who's still fired, come through the Titantron, but have her come through the crowd. She comes in. They go back and forth about Stephanie McMahon being upset about having to go to jail and it being embarrassing for her. She asks Brie not to take the charges away, and she'll be nicer to Nikki and give Nikki a raise. That's not enough for Brie. She says she wants her job back, and Stephanie says, "Okay, I'll give you a job back." Then she comes back, says, "I want a match as well," and she says, "Okay, I'll give you a match. You can have the Divas title match, or you can have a Total Divas face off or something like that." And then Brie says, "No, I want a match against you, Stephanie." They kind of go back and forth about it. Stephanie finally accepts, but then says, "You know what? I'm going to accept the match, but what's really going to happen is I'm going to make you my bitch." Slaps the shot at Brie. Brie falls to the ground, and they just start going at it, fighting each other, tumbling all over the place. You get the guys, Aegis from the back, and Triple H come to break it up. You get a Jamie Noble chant from the crowd, and just all the Aegis, old wrestling guys breaking up these girls and stuff. Craziness going on. Stephanie, they're finally breaking up. Big old stare down between Stephanie and Brie Bella. And as far as this segment goes, I thought it was pretty chill. Brie still has that problem with, coming off as even a mediocre actress. She's still pretty bad. She's okay at some spots, but she's still pretty bad. I thought Stephanie, while being cool here, she did go over the top a little bit too much with the crying and stuff. But as far as this goes, Divas getting in Stephanie McMahon getting the end segment. You don't see it a lot, so I applaud them on at least that. And I thought it was a pretty chill segment here. As far as tonight's Raw goes, there was some pretty chill spots. Nothing to write home about. I thought Cena beginning promo was really good. I thought a couple of matches here were pretty good. A couple of beatdown segments were pretty chill. But there was a lot of filler tonight. A lot of things like that, I thought were very, very bad. There were several matches that were less than 30 seconds at like the Bo Dallas versus Truth match. And there were some decisions here that I just did not like at all. So if I had to rate this show, I would give it a C+. I thought it was, average at best. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. This has been a pretty long video, so I'm gonna try to end this real quick. All my links to hit me up are down below. What else? I said like, comment, subscribe, and people. I'm gonna try to come back on Friday with more information about the TNA stuff if I can. You can go online and find out about it yourself. But if you want to, talk about it, please talk about it in the comment section, and I will most definitely hit you back. I have one or two people who come to my comment section and say some stuff. Thank you to those people who, watch my videos for however long, for the minute or two they watch it. Anything is welcomed here. Thank you. I'll see you Friday. Keep watching wrestling, and peace.